The Big E Sports Show.
Yeah, we got it going on,
The fastest hour in sports entertainment. We don't just talk about the headlines. We bring you some of the most engaging and colorful guests each and every episode for your listening pleasure. Now, without further ado, here's your host, Elissa Walker-Campbell.
Elissa Walker-Campbell, welcome into the Big E Sports Show, where we highlight and discuss the biggest PGA news and notes. You can join us online at X, at eRadioSports, eRadioSports.com, many different platforms. Check us out on YouTube. And as promised, we will highlight the 2025 Masters that is underway. Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy have the best odds to win, like they have on every PGA Tour event that they have entered this season. We've got you covered, and we're going to break it all down. Always a true pleasure when we have the opportunity to catch up with former PGA pro and author. That is Larry Miller. Thank you for joining us, Larry.
Yeah, well, it's always fun and a pleasure. And I'm really enjoying the spring weather. It seems like when the Masters rolls around, here comes the good weather right along with it. So it's a great time of year for golf. Absolutely.
Well, this year, the best golfers from the PGA Tour and LIV are back together for a week at Augusta National Golf Club. But I want to leave off our conversation and begin with just congratulating and highlighting a fair and a fun and rare accomplishment for you and your wife, Connie, something that you'll never forget. It was unbelievable as both of you get a hole-in-one during your recent golf outing. I mean, all I can say is that the golf gods love the Miller family. What are the chances of something like this happening?
It's got to be in the billions, to have back-to-back aces, husband and wife. And so all the research we did and with the USGA and so forth. And this is only the third time that this has ever happened, where a husband and wife made back-to-back hole-in-ones. And we did it on a very long hole, the longest par 3 here at New Orleans Country Club, number 14. It was on March 22nd, a couple of Saturdays ago. And my yardage, the tee was up a little bit. My yardage was 171. And I hit a 5-iron right at the flag, landed on the green, rolled up, went in the hole. About 45 seconds later, my wife from 152 at the ladies' tee hits a 7-wood on the green, rolled up in the hole. So back-to-back aces and just the rarity of rarities. And, Michael Murphy, the author of Golf in the Kingdom, he calls golf a theater of the absurd. And it is. The game seems to lend itself to strange things happening. And I've experienced a lot of strange things in my many years in this game. But that has to take the cake. But anyway, just unbelievable. I said there's something going on. I bought a lottery ticket on the way home that night, and I didn't get one number, of course. but anyway, what a strange and rare and fun thing to have happen.
Well, Larry, I have to wonder, has this experience changed the way you see the game and just your time together with your wife, Connie, on the course? Because in my opinion, like you're saying, it feels like it was more than just a coincidence or luck. I'm thinking a God wink or a blessing shared between the two of you. What a joyful surprise.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder when something like that happens. The odds are just probably higher than even winning the lottery. Because it's supposed to be 26 million to 1 for just a hole-in-one. And then it's double that for two people in the same group. But for husband and wife back-to-back, it's only happened 3 times in history. There's no telling what the odds are for that. And so, I'm just really thankful that we got to experience something like that. And it's a special thing. And it does make you wonder about, what goes on behind the scenes of our everyday lives.
Absolutely. You provided for our viewers, our listeners, the details of the shot, but it was at New Orleans Country Club. What was kind of the feedback that you've received from so many of your members there? You guys have been longtime members.
Well, the whole club knows about it by now. And, it's a funny thing. People walk up all the time, every day, and they say, oh, congratulations. Well, let me tell you how I look at this. And I tell each one that says that, I said, look, this is really not an accomplishment, okay? An accomplishment is a really good golf shot. For 2 balls back-to-back to go in a hole from 170 and 150 yards, it's luck. Let's face it. It takes a really good shot to get close to the hole, a well-struck golf shot. But for two balls from that distance to go into a 4-inch hole, it just takes a lot of good fortune. So I don't look at it so much as an accomplishment as just a very fortunate accidental occurrence.
Well, I will be posting a picture of you and your wife on my social media. I just got to wonder, does this settle any debates about who's the better golfer in the family, or does it start a new one? What does Connie think?
All I know is I had to buy the drinks because I.
Oh, you did? Well, what advice would you give to couples who golf together or anyone chasing that first ace? I mean, Steven's had one, but Eli has yet. It's been elusive. He has not had an ace.
That's hard to believe, as good a player as he is. But like I said, it takes a great shot to get close, but got to get a little lucky for it to go in that hole. But I've been fortunate enough to make 8 of them. That's Connie's number 2. And Eli's going to make a bunch before it's over.
Hey, Larry Miller is our very special guest. His book that he released several years ago, it is titled Ben Hogan's Secret Fundamental, What He Never Told the World. You can go anywhere online and get a copy of that. And in just a moment, we are going to highlight the Masters. But I did want to pause and also congratulate you on 50 years of membership with the PGA Tour. What an incredible milestone. And what does this mean for you to be a part of this elite organization as a golf professional, Larry?
What it means is that I'm old to go that long. But no, it's been a great journey with the PGA. I was elected to membership 50 years ago, and now I'm a life member. Which a life member means you've been a member for over 25 years. But now I'm a member of the Half Century Club. That's kind of scary to say that.
Yeah.
Think about a half century, but anyway, it's been just every one of those 50 years has been fun, being a member of this great organization and being able to teach the game and help others enjoy it as much as I have.
Well, and Larry, I mean, you're a mid-70s guy. I think it's so inspiring that, I mean, you and your wife, Connie, you guys are up every day. You're at the course and you're living, your life.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a mini Bernard Langer, I'm 77 now. And, I think the last time I shot over my age was maybe, 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm still playing at a pretty good level. I don't hit it as far as I used to, but in some ways my game's even better with the experience that I've gained. And so I'm very thankful to have been healthy enough to be able to play this long.
Well, let's move ahead. Let's highlight the Masters. So when this time of year rolls around, I mean, it's like our Super Bowl, right? So what do you look forward to the most? And what is your favorite Master tradition, from pimento cheese to Amen Corner?
Amen Corner. I love getting behind number 12 tee and watching those shots. You can look to your left and see the shots into 11, which are very difficult. It's a very difficult second shot. And then you just swivel over to the right a little bit and you see the tee shots on 12 and you see the guys sitting there trying to figure out when to pull the trigger, the way the wind blows around. And for me, the best Masters experience really is getting to watch the best players in the world try to play these very challenging holes. And it's a beautiful place. It's sacred ground for a golfer for sure. And, we've been to it 4 or 5 times. I've played the course myself, and it's a magical place for sure. And I think having McIlroy and Scheffler, it's the favorites in the tournament. I think that's as it should be, because I think they're the 2 best players in the world right now. And the Masters always seems to bring the cream to the top. So let's see what happens. And I think at the end of it, you're going to see a lot of big names fighting it out.
Well, the Masters is so special because it's not just a golf tournament, but it has really turned into a cultural event.
It is. People who don't even play golf watch it when it comes on, partially to see the beauty of the place. It just has this mystique about it. And then you have the benefit of seeing just the very best that ever played the game, hit great golf shots around this tough golf course. It's a hard walk too. You can't tell on television that much, but it's extremely hilly. It's a very difficult walk. And that's one reason why Bernard Langer is making this his last one, is because it's not his game. It's the fact of walking that golf course.
You mentioned some of the key storylines, talking about Scotty and Rory. We'll hit on that here in just a moment. But overall, I mean, how does this field compare to previous years? Is it stronger? Is it weaker? Is it more unpredictable? I mean, there's no Tiger. And you mentioned Bernard. I mean, this is his last Masters to compete.
Yeah, I think it's stronger because of the number of great young players we have now. As you know, coming from the college ranks, there's just hundreds and hundreds of them that are just super players and ready to win on the PGA Tour. And they prove that by all the first-time winners that you get year to year. And so every year the Masters, has more and more of these young players that have qualified for it. And so I think the field just gets stronger. And I think this year certainly is a strong field, especially with some of the top players trending, toward the top of their games.
Larry, and I do wonder, how do today's players stack up against past legends at Augusta? Are we witnessing perhaps a new golden era in the game of golf?
Yeah, but it's really hard. It's apples and oranges because when I played and, when Palmer won all of his and Gary Player and Watson, and, we were playing with persimmon wood drivers and Balata golf balls. And back then, a 280-yard drive was a long drive. Well, now you're the shortest hitter on the PGA Tour if you're hitting 280. So it's very hard to compare it. But, the champions always beat who they play against. That's what makes them a champion. And so from decade to decade, that's what you see. You saw it with Nicklaus, you saw it with Woods, now you're seeing it with Scheffler and McIlroy and others. Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth had his run. So I think it just gets stronger and stronger with the talent.
Can Scheffler continue his hot streak and pull off another green jacket?
I think he can, due to his persona, his attitude, just the way he is unflappable. He very patient player and a very conservative player. Nicklaus was that way. So was Ben Hogan. And a lot of these great champions, they played rather conservative golf, and they avoided bogeys. And that's how you win majors, is you make the fewest bogeys of anybody in the field. It's not how many birdies, it's fewer bogeys. And because they're going to make their birdies on the par fives and a few other holes. But when you can go around 72 holes with only 3 or 4 bogeys, that's when you're at the top of the heap.
Well, he minimizes bogeys, but he can get a flurry of birdies. And let's talk some more and have you expound on what separates Scottie Scheffler's game from the rest of the field right here, right now.
Well, he's a rare blend of power and finesse. He not only hits it very long, he's probably the best iron player on the PGA Tour, bar none. I mean, the stats just prove that out. But then when you combine that, his power, his accuracy with the irons, with great hands around the green, great touch with the wedges, that's why he's won 7 times last year, 7 or 8 times, if you count the Olympics. And so, I think, and now he's gotten over that injury that happened around Christmas, and his game is rounding into shape. And, he won 7 last year, but the first one didn't come till about a week ago, this same time.
Yeah.
So, nothing to say he can't do it again, because he seems to be back on his game once again.
He is fascinating to watch. And I just have to wonder, how does Scottie Scheffler manage to stay so consistent, especially under pressure when the lights are the brightest in big events like the Masters? He's crossing the finish line. He's not stopping at it.
Yeah, well, his golf swing just repeats time after time. It's extremely repeatable. It's a little bit unorthodox, with his footwork, but he does it the same way every time. And the other thing about it is that he has confidence and he's unflappable. And, nothing really bothers him. He goes about his rounds, it's very hard to tell if he's 2 over or 2 under. He's just even keel. And I think that he's got the whole package. He's got the game, the power, the finesse, and he's got the emotional makeup to deal with the pressure.
Well, Scottie Scheffler, as you've said, he never seems rattled. And we're talking about his mindset earlier this week, just that calm demeanor he has. Just, Larry, how important is it to have that kind of emotional control in high-stakes golf?
It's the separator. It's absolutely the separator, and it's why so many talented ball strikers and great players never make it, because of it's 2 words. It's emotional makeup. You have to have the right emotional makeup to handle pressure, because I don't know, if any of your listeners have ever experienced, maybe in a member guest or a club championship, and when you get to the last few holes and you're tied or 1 down, you can feel it. You can feel it. You tighten up, your hands sweat. You're almost shaking. But the players who have the right emotional makeup for that situation, it doesn't bother them. They can perform as if they're playing on a Saturday morning with their buddies. And so And it's something that you're kind of born with. Some people are born with that emotional makeup to handle the heat, and others just, no matter what happens, when the chips are down, they get a little jittery. And so a lot of great players that you're probably never going to hear of, or, didn't make it because of that fact, because they just couldn't handle the pressure. It's that simple.
Well, if Scottie Scheffler wins another major this year, where do you think that puts him in the current all-time conversation?
Well, that's a really good question because you have to have a bigger, sample size than what we have with him so far. But boy, the sample size so far is pretty spectacular, and I think a couple of more good years out of Scottie, and he's going to be. You're going to have to put him in the top 5 all time for sure. If he has a couple more years like last year, then that's going to seal the deal, and it's going to prove that he belongs in that echelon with the very best.
Well, let's transition and talk about Rory. How would you grade his 2025 season so far? Because he has certainly lived up to expectations and perhaps exceeded them.
He's got a great start. He's got 2 wins this year already. Playing great golf. With 2 wins this early in the year, if he can tack on a major or 2, boy, he's going to be a tough fight for a player of the year this year if he can do that, especially if Scottie keeps playing well too. So, but I think Rory is off to a great start. And it would be, I'd kind of like to see him win this week.
Sure.
I'd like to see him complete the career Grand Slam. I think that's something that's rarefied air. And a player of his caliber, as great as he is, he deserves to be in that airspace. Well,
any dark horses or rookies that we should be keeping our eye on this week?
Well, I think when you talk about dark horses, Shane Lowry comes to mind.
Okay.
Ludwig Oberg, although I don't know if you'd call him a dark horse, such a great player. But he's one that could sneak in there with his ball striking. He's a great iron player, too. He also has that same sort of attitude that Scottie has. So I think those 2 are names that you could watch for possibly a surprise. But, Augusta seems to always favor the experienced veterans, who have a lot of experience on that golf course. And as great as some of the young players are, they may not have acquired enough experience on those greens yet, to win that event.
My final question for you is, what's your boldest prediction for the 2025 Masters? Who is your pick to win the green jacket this year?
Well, I'm going to really shock you with this one, Scottie Scheffler.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not pick him? He's the best iron player in the game, and Augusta National is a second-shot golf course. It's all about your approach shots, placing them on the proper quadrant of the green to give you the easiest putt or 2-putt. And there's no better iron player than he is. So almost impossible to not pick him. McIlroy would be a second choice, I guess. And then Ludwig, too, would be my third.
That's the big 3. Well, as I said in the open, Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy have the best odds to win it all this year. Always a true pleasure each and every week when we have the opportunity to go inside the ropes and visit with Larry Miller, former PGA pro. Go out and pick up a copy of his book, Ben Hogan's Secret Fundamental, What He Never Told the World. Larry, we look forward to connecting and a full recap of the 2025 Masters. Thank you.
Yep, great fun, everybody. Enjoy the tournament.
You bet.